He said, check the records at the hospital. I'm saying it. You got your ripped out.
Because as a result of being around that man, Sean Puffy Combs, I don't sleep to this day. I have a problem sleeping to this day. I got it from him.
At trial, Combs will ditch the jail garb and wear ordinary clothes. As his lawyers argue, the evidence shows consenting adults being intimate in their own way.
Would you be open to a plea bargain?
Well, it's not up to me. It's up to Mr. Combs, and I don't see it happening.
Why?
Because he believes he's innocent. He believes he's innocent. And what's more, he believes that he needs to stand up, not just for himself, for his family, and for everybody who's been targeted by the federal government.
The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now. That will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to exploit both women and men for decades.
He knows the deck is stacked against him. They've got a ton of evidence. Take the plea deal, dude. Just take it.
Well, my guess is that, because we don't know the deal of the plea deal. At least I don't think we do.
True.
Okay.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, Sean Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs than if he's convicted.
What happens is if people go into a trial believing the firepower on the prosecution is so strong, I mean, let's say on a scale of 1 to 100, it's a 95 that it's so strong, but it goes down to an 88. That helps the defense because everybody goes in thinking, wow, they're going to prove this, and they're going to prove this, and they're going to prove this, and all of a sudden, none of it's there. I think that actually helps the defense.
Do you still think that, because there is this public perception, that there are celebrity tapes involved in this case?
No.
Do you still think that there are minors involved in this case?
I'm certain no.
Okay.
And again, when you say this case, we're talking the criminal case.
The criminal case.
In the
criminal. I know that.
In the criminal case.
In
the criminal case, no.
It would be such a massive trial, like maybe the biggest Hollywood trial. God knows which way it's going to go. Are they gonna? Is it gonna go on for weeks? And
for sure, weeks.
Now, as far as jury selection goes, I think the biggest takeaway for me is that both sides expect to have all of this done in the matter of 3 days. Now, given just how high profile this trial is, I was kind of stunned that they seem very confident that they will be able to seat a jury in that amount of time.
What made you come here to support Puff?
I'm supporting Puff because he's innocent. And I'm wholeheartedly believing his innocence, and I know he's innocent. So
you think you know he's innocent?
1,000%.
Federal trafficking, racketeering, and charges beginning Monday morning.
Back up a little bit, please.
How can you support your father? How do you support him moving forward?
Isn't that, to my mind, that's one of the bigger hurdles in selecting a jury this coming week, is that there is, at least anecdotally, when I talk to people, they have that opinion, strongly held opinion, that there's celebrities.
Diddy's lawyers had argued that he had made good faith efforts by showing up in New York, ready to surrender to face these charges, but prosecutors said that he could not be trusted, that he has a history of trying to intimidate witnesses, including some who are going to be witnesses in this case. They urged the judge to remand him.
The last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts, when he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his son. siblings or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs back behind bars, a magistrate judge denying him bail, saying that there were no conditions that she could conceive of that would make her confident that he would appear again for other court appearances. The judge saying, "My concern is this is a crime that happens behind closed doors."
That they've kind of conflated Epstein, and you mentioned Ghislaine Maxwell and all of these things into Diddy. There's this idea that somehow this is Epstein redux or something.
We have the latest from federal court in the Sean Combs criminal case. Status of jury selection, what Diddy's going to be wearing, violation of a gag order, rejecting a plea offer.
Elaborate, sometimes days-long parties by coercing victims through drugs, threats, and manipulation. They claim to have video evidence, and some of the accusations echo details from over 70 civil lawsuits filed against Combs over the last 30 years.
Mr. Combs feels A, he's innocent, which is why he's not going to plead guilty. B, he's going to be truthful about this case because he wants to portray that to the people who have loved him his whole life. And I think he also feels an obligation to people in general. Maybe it's black people, maybe it's white people, maybe it's anybody who's ever felt aggrieved and targeted by the government. He feels an obligation to those people to say, you know what, maybe I can break the model. Maybe I can show the world that a black man can win, in federal court. And I think he probably is the only person I know of who might be able to actually accomplish that.
She did, and when the judge did, Diddy, who was sitting at the defense table with his attorneys, did not show any signs of emotion. He took a sip of water before he was led out of the courtroom by the U.S. Marshals. Now, his lawyers have vowed to fight this. They are going to be back in court on Wednesday before the judge who will oversee this trial and try to get Diddy to be released.
Bill and Sade, accepting a plea agreement would mean that Sean Combs would have to admit to trafficking and force. And today he made it very clear that was not going to happen. Diddy maintained all along these encounters involved consenting adults and plans to take his chances that a jury agreed.
R&B star Usher Raymond IV is going to speak as a witness for the government in the big trial of music boss Sean Diddy Combs. This was shared in a private court file Sunday and confirmed by two people who know the case on Monday. He is going to talk during the first week of court in Manhattan and might give new info about Combs' close friends and helpers. The court is trying to show a pattern of bad things hidden behind business deals and close friendships. The court papers from March say Combs is charged with one count of R and other charges about ST and stopping justice. The 25 charges say Combs had a secret group that helped with travel, places to stay, and money for girls going to private late-night parties. Combs says he is not guilty and still goes to court every day with his lawyers after paying $6 million to stay out of jail. Usher knew Combs since the mid-1990s when he was a teen and lived at a music house owned by Bad Boy Entertainment in New York. The court wants to talk about this time to show early signs of what they say was grooming, which later turned into a big and planned setup. This includes an old 1998 diary that was shown as proof last month. The diary talks about late-night music times and special guest lists run by Combs' top helpers. Combs' lawyers say the diary is not real proof because they don't know where it came from. But U.S. Attorney Clarissa Vega said a key person will prove the diary is real and explain it. That person is Usher, who will come to court in person instead of video. People close to Usher say he wants to show how serious this is and not look like he's avoiding it. Court workers spent Monday working on the plans for Usher's visit. Law experts say someone famous like Usher can really affect the jury. Usher's name makes people listen, said Marcus Green, a lawyer not in the case. But famous names can also make people focus on the wrong things. Picking the jury has been hard because so many people saw things online or on TV about the case. On Monday, the judge let go of 3 jury members who said they couldn't be fair after watching funny videos or posts about the case. One possible juror said a stand-up show joked about baby oil found in Combs' house during a police search in March. The court says this is why real people like Usher need to tell their stories to fight rumors and lies. Vega said, "We need real witnesses like Usher to stop fake stories." The list of witnesses the government gave last week includes old workers, bodyguards, and 4 women who said Combs made them do bad things. Combs' lawyers say they will ask the witnesses hard questions. They want to ask about secret deals, money paid, and why some people might lie to win civil lawsuits. Combs' top lawyer, Jennifer Keller, said outside court that they respect Usher as a great singer, but think his memories of the 1990s don't matter now. Stories from 30 years ago are just rumors and don't help with today's charges, she said. She also asked the court to not talk about anything from before 2004. Behind closed doors, both sides have talked about if Usher should get legal safety. Two people say Usher didn't ask for this and is helping on his own. But the government might still give him protection just to keep the trial moving fast. People started talking about Usher being involved weeks ago after Billboard said his team was talking to agents. On Monday, Usher's team didn't say anything in public, but someone close to him said, Usher just wants to tell the truth, nothing else. Right after the news, people online went wild. Hashtags like #UsherSpeaks and #DiddyTrial started trending fast. Experts said the government added 2 more secret witnesses to help with the story Usher will tell. They say prosecutors don't just use one big star. They want to show everything with papers, messages, and money records too. In a court paper, they talked about over 200 private jet flights from 2015 to 2023. These flights took people to parties in Miami, LA, and the Virgin Islands. The government says these parties followed a pattern of pressure and control. But Combs' team says the flights were just normal trips for artists, bosses, and money people. Judge Subramanian wants to keep the trial focused. He made rules about how long opening speeches can be and told both sides to not use mean words. So now the court uses short forms like ST for serious charges and AB for assault, which is normal in big trials. Outside the court, people showed what they feel. Some fans of Combs came with signs saying "Bad Boy for Life," cheering for him. Across the street, people helping victims had signs asking for justice. Police kept both groups apart, and nothing bad happened. In the music world, people are split. Some artists close to Combs posted messages that show support without saying his name. At the same time, more people are listening to old Bad Boy songs after Monday's news. Experts say this is called a curiosity bump. As the trial goes on, everyone's watching Usher's words, which could change the whole case full of famous names and shocking stories. This big federal trial against music boss Diddy Combs is getting more serious. And now Grammy-winning singer Usher Raymond, 4, is going to take the stand. This shocked people in both music and law. Usher is helping the court while also getting lots of attention after his big Super Bowl show and a great Las Vegas concert run. His part in the trial is a big deal. The case is about STR and stopping justice and has lots of famous people, wild stories, and big meaning for music. Usher, who lived for a bit at the Bad Boy house when he was young and stayed close to Combs until the 2010s, will talk early in the trial. The court thinks his story will help show the start of what became a long plan of control and secrets. People say Usher taking the stand could be risky for his image, since talks about abuse and power are all over the news now. But many fans and writers think it's brave. This is bigger than music, said Daniel Smith, who's writing a book on R&B. When someone as big as Usher goes to court, it shows that being fair matters, even for stars. Behind the scenes, they're getting ready for Usher to come. The U.S. Marshals are making sure he gets in safely and without trouble. There's going to be extra space for media and fans. The judge said opening talks could start next Monday. If things stay on track, Usher might speak before mid-May, making a big moment early in the trial. But Combs' lawyers have until Wednesday to ask the court to limit what Usher can talk about. They say his old stories from the 1990s don't really help with the charges that are only about things since 2004. As the first week of picking the jury ends, Combs left court through a side door and didn't answer questions about Usher. His lawyers later said they believe the full trial will prove Combs is innocent. Inside court, both sides gave very different papers Tuesday night. The government's 42-page note asks the judge to allow a lot of digital proof, like 6 saved chat backups and over 17 terabytes of videos from Combs' homes between 2014 and 2023. They say the proof shows how guests were watched, signed secrets, and got taken away in the morning. Lawyer Vegas said these records match what witnesses say and show a planned system of control. She said Usher will be asked to name people in a video from January 6, 1997, and confirm emails about how guests were welcomed. This, they say, proves the bad stuff started way before 2004. Combs' lawyer Keller gave back a 38-page paper calling the videos too much and not helpful. She said many clips are about music, private talks, and stuff that has nothing to do with the case. She asked the judge to let only 30 minutes of video be shown. She said too much video will turn the trial into a media circus instead of a serious trial. The fight over video is just one of many court arguments. On Thursday, the court will talk about other limits on proof. One question is if the jury can hear a 2020 phone call where Combs maybe told an aide to send warmth to a woman who was about to sue him. The government says that meant hush money. The defense says it just meant help like a hotel or food. Keller also said the phone number wasn't even Combs's, so it might not be his call. Earlier this week, the trial stopped for a bit when a hard drive broke. Techs fixed it while the judge reminded everyone that tech problems can happen in a big trial. Lots of info doesn't mean it's clear, he said. Picking the jury is now on day 3. They need 46 people to get 12 jurors and 4 extras. So far, 36 passed the first test. Some people in the group include a Harlem school boss who writes about music and a paralegal from Midtown who worked in music law. They both said they can be fair even if they know Combs' music. But the defense used a special rule to remove a barber from the Bronx who collects bad boy things, thinking he might be biased. Outside, the trial has people talking. A group of artists and activists had a rally, saying the music world needs to do better. Singer Stephanie Mills told the crowd, "Silence protects power," and said Usher was brave. On the other side of the street, a small group gave out flyers saying Combs should be seen as innocent. Police put up more fences, but there were no arrests. Money-wise, the trial is hurting Combs' businesses. 2 banks are now watching his company closely and are not letting him use as much money. A report said Dago is now holding back more than $30 million from a deal they canceled with Combs. Moody's, the credit agency, might lower the score of Combs' companies because they worry the government could take his stuff. People in the business world think Combs might sell part of his TV company Revolt to get money. Fans, music bosses, and law experts are all watching. Usher's story is a big part of the government's plan. The court drama is changing how people think about fame, fairness, and secret power in music. This trial against Diddy Combs is getting big. Court talks, money issues, and famous names are everywhere. The case about STR and stopping justice is at a big moment. The lawyers, court, and government are all getting ready for a wild trial. In the middle of it all is Usher Raymond IV. The R&B star lived for a bit at a bad boy house and will soon tell his story in court. People say he met with lawyers for 2 days to help remember things, not to practice what to say. They wanted to talk about a 1997 music practice where Combs asked young singers about their private lives. Law experts say this could show a plan that led to more bad things later. People are saying Usher is brave for helping, especially since his career is going great after the Super Bowl and Las Vegas shows. One person in the industry said, "This is more than music." They say Usher's move could start a new time where stars are honest. Meanwhile, the government found a long list of money stuff. In a private note, they said a money expert will talk in court. This person followed over $11.6 million sent by apps to fake companies in Delaware, Wyoming, and the Virgin Islands. These fake companies sent money to women in the case. One company, Sapphire Key LLC, paid for jet trips and secret deals. The court says this company helped hide the bad stuff. The defense says the money was legal. They say it was used for talent, music writing, and other work. Keller says Sapphire Key is just a company for music money, not for bad things. On Wednesday, the defense asked the court to not show money lists found on a laptop. Keller says these files were made after the police got the laptop, so they shouldn't count. The government says their paper let them look at anything about the case. Another question is if the jury can hear about past deals. The government says it helps show why people didn't talk for years. The defense says talking about money could make the jury unfair. There are more problems. In California, after the March search of Combs' home, local police are now working with the feds. A paper in LA says Combs might have broken rules about hiring guards without a license. That could mean a fine. Keller says this has nothing to do with the case and shouldn't be allowed. Combs is now dressing differently in court. He used to wear all black, but now he wears a gray pinstripe suit. Some people say clothes can change how the jury sees you, but experts say the proof and stories matter more. The court says Combs said no to a deal where he would get 15 years for just one charge. His lawyers say this shows he believes he's innocent. Big companies are feeling the case too. Meta might get asked to share private messages. Spotify is watching in case the court asks about songs tied to party invites. Combs's TV network Revolt has stopped its main show. Ad experts say less people want to buy ads on Combs's shows. But more people are listening to old bad boy music, which happens a lot when there's drama. More than 160 reporters got passes this week, almost like the big El Chapo trial. 2 extra courtrooms are full every day. Outside, it's like a show. Some people shout for justice, others pass out flyers for Combs. Police added more fences, but made no arrests. The case also links to other court problems. People in civil cases want to see secret proof from this trial. They say the info can help their side. The judge said they can send papers asking if that's okay. The government is okay with it, but says don't show stuff that could hurt the witnesses. Keller says no way. She says people's private lives could be shown. On Wednesday, the court will keep picking the jury and talk about whether to use certain chats and flight lists. They need 46 people to pick the jury and extras. Once they start, court will go from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. with 1 hour off. That won't leave time for press talks. The judge says he wants the case to move fast. If they finish picking by Thursday, they'll start talking Monday, and Usher might take the stand just days after that.